Hello and welcome to the New Thought Men's Podcast, where we explore what it is to be a healthy spiritual man today. I'm Eamon. It's great to have you with us. Welcome to the New Thought Men's Podcast. I am Eamon. I am here with Reverend Jay Lang. Jay, so great to see you. Welcome.
So good to see you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I've known Jay for quite a while. Back in the day at Mile High Church, and just knew him as a friend, fellow practitioner, an amazing man, and especially the work that you've done with kids. But before we get into all of that wonderful stuff, and especially talking about do our beliefs hold water, I just want to share you with everybody who's here today. So let me just share. Reverend Jay Lang is the minister of Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living and the dean of the School for Spiritual Leadership in the Napa Valley campus. And he also served as a staff minister at Mile High Church from 2011 to 2014. His passion for life shines through his ministry. I can attest to that, as well as his life and his community engagement. His mission and the mission of his community is to help create a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and in all faiths. He believes that transformation happens when we take time out to be reflective and consider our part in creating our own experience. So Jay, welcome. So glad you're here today with us. Let's go ahead and get into it. You just shared a wonderful talk with us for the New Thought Men's Summit. And so today I want to just dive in a little bit more about that when positive thinking isn't enough. We are the optimists, right? We are these people who hold the high vision. We're almost maybe overly associated with that on some level, in some way, that and I love your title. It's like where we can even be in denial of what's really going on, doing a spiritual bypass. Some would say toxic positivity or denial positivity. And even Ernest Holmes back in the day was like, yes, we want to deny we want to deny what we're not affirming. And so I'm so glad that our community has really evolved and grown over time to be able to see that we really want to see it as the real, what's really going on. So we're not trying to block reality on some level, but in the face of that, holding that higher vision, in the face of the challenge, in the face of the struggle. So would you just speak a little bit on maybe kind of that spiritual bypass, or maybe even especially with us as men, you told this wonderful story about, wrecking on your bike and then standing right up and being like, I'm fine.
Right. I'm good. Right.
So many of us men are like that. It's like no, we don't even check in with ourselves. It's not like, take a breath. Am I really okay? Is there something broken? Am I bleeding? No, I'm fine.
One time,
blood gushing.
One time I was on Green Mountain in Denver, and it was the first time I was learning to use cleats on my bicycle, and my shoe literally didn't come out of the cleat, and I was on a steep hillside, and I turned downside, and I flipped my bike over several times and landed, and this mother with kids was just watching, and I looked up at her. I was scraped up. I go, I'm good. I mean, maybe I needed some help.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I hadn't even had time to assess it.
Yeah.
It's comical now when I think about it, but it's sad on another level.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think about this. I don't know when people end up watching this, but this summer we watched. Many people watched the debate between two presidents, and they were old school. They were of the thing that we don't talk about vulnerable things, but here they were debating on to become the president of the United States, and they were arguing about who was a better golfer. Give me a break. There's something more important to talk about here, isn't there? It's sad.
Mm.
It's sad when we are not willing to be human, that we are. And I think that gets in the way of our creating the life we want, to accept what is. And according to this gal, Gabrielle Ettinger, who wrote this book, Rethinking Positive Thinking, she was saying not only do we want to seek a wish, a dream, and think what we want to create, what the outcome is, to imagine that, but we also want to imagine what the obstacles might be and a plan to overcome those obstacles. Because in that way, when we hit that obstacle, we won't freeze or fight or run away. We won't, that we can be present with what is and either be prepared or be mindful in the moment to allow spirit, this universal presence, to come through us, to reveal in us what the highest and best for us in that moment.
Yeah.
That's okay too. And that's hard for guys to not know ahead of time what's going to happen. And we can't possibly control everything in our lives. We want to. We can't.
Yeah.
We just cannot. It's not possible.
Yeah.
As hard as we try.
It's interesting because it's about, and we'll go deeper into that because I love what you were talking about with Gabrielle Ettinger, but for us to be able to acknowledge that the change, the unknown, to be able to be in that moment of, I don't know what's going to happen here. And that's scary. Like the defensive systems can kick in, the checkout systems can kick in, a lot of different things to be able to, especially those of us who have had, traumatic experiences or severe challenges in life. And to be able to take that breath and just go, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Here
pause.
I am.
The pause.
Because that's where we're going to find revelations and understanding and insights we need to move forward. We have to be present. I mean, I think about Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, which I always love.
Yeah.
And when you're going on that journey, you go into the unknown. Unknown means you don't know, right? And so in there, you find tools, you find wisdom, either through people or revealed wisdom within you. And through that, you become a transformation and you come out of it a different person at a different time in a different way, a new normal. But if we are not willing to go into that unknown, we're just going to go into the same little circle of knowing the same thing and doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, sticking with the same pattern. Absolutely.
Same patterns. Yeah, we got to go into the unknown. We got to travel.
Yeah.
Into that nether world.
Because it's the mystery is a part of that thing that then changes us and transforms. You start to talk Joseph Campbell and I get excited. But
I know we could probably go on all day about
we
that,
could go on a long time about that one, but we'll save that for another time. I'll have you back.
Okay.
But to be able to and I love the Native peoples just calling it, the great mystery. Like we need that mystery in our life.
We do.
We need that to propel us into this next thing, because boy, as creatures of comfort, we would choose the same thing over and over and over again if that mystery didn't come in, if that unexpected didn't come in. And for myself and probably many, we would miss out on the juiciness of life, the powerful experiences of life. For myself, I can appreciate that. I actually went to Antarctica for 3 years and work
Ooh,
down
that's
there.
right.
That was not in the plan. What Antarctica? What the heck? You would have asked me even 6 months before, or a few months before I heard about it, and I would be like, yeah, dude, I'm building my business right now. Why would I go to Antarctica? And yet that was the thing. When I turned 30, that was the rite of passage. That was the thing that I needed, that got me out of my comfort zone, got me out of my normalcy, got me out of all of the sameness that I probably would have been stuck in for years if I hadn't gone, and I hadn't gone to New Zealand, and I hadn't gone to Antarctica 3 times. Okay, 3 times might have been excessive, but it definitely got me out of the normal routines and the normal, the safety, the same, the sameness, the not challenged, and put me into a place of, okay, I got to be open, because here I am. I'm in a whole different country. I'm in a whole different continent.
But life changes. We can't stay in the same place. Okay, so insanity is defined as doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But I think it's also doing the same thing over and over again and not expecting something to change, because change is the way life is. So trying to keep things the same as like a beach ball that we're trying to keep underwater, it takes so much effort to keep it under the water, where all our energy is spent in keeping control of it, when it's meant just to pop up and let it be. Throw it around, have fun, beat it around. Let's have fun with life. Let's be curious. What happens if I dive into this? So many things were brought into out of, like you talk about, going to Antarctica, a curiosity, an interest, a what if. Sometimes they don't even work out. Relationships break up, jobs end. We move somewhere and it doesn't work out like we think it's going to, but it's just that movement that has opened up our heart, opened up our soul to new things. And sounds like that's what happened to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It changed my whole experience and my whole outlook on life, really, and gave me the clarity that ultimately wound up me going back to wanting to go to ministerial school and doing the work that I'm doing now, working with men. So I love it. Okay. I'm going to have to stop us there. Beautiful conversation, but let's get back to Gabrielle Ottinger. And is it a book? Rethinking Positive
It is a book
Thinking?
called Rethinking Positive Thinking. She's also got some YouTube videos out there that everybody watches video this time. So just click on the YouTube. She's got a thick European accent. I think it's German, but I'm not sure. Might be Belgium. But she's really clear about and she talks about the research she's done. That's really great. But the bottom line is this 4-step process, and we're already used to the first 2 steps being new thought people, and that's your intention and what you want that experience to be, what it's going to look like, sound like, what you want your experience to be. And I love trying to imagine what our experience is, because that brings it into the body, and our whole body is really important in creation, not just from our brain. It is body, mind, heart, and soul that we want to engage, our whole self, our whole energetic system, all our chakras, not just the upper ones, but all of our chakras, and move from that place of connectedness. But she said we need to do the other 2, because if we don't do the other 2, we tend to lose motivation, because we've already imagined this, and some part of our body, our mind thinks, oh, we've already done it, so it's already going to be. I just release it into the word, and it's so, is what we say in our prayers, but we don't do the work then. And we've got to do the work, both the inner work and the physical work, the emotional work, the mental work. We've got to keep doing that. We've got to keep being open with the heart. What is pulling us to keep doing that work? So she adds 2 more steps, and that's the other. So it's WOOP. W is for the wish. O is for the outcome. And the second O is for obstacles. And the 4th one is plan. So we plan for those obstacles. And we sometimes think that when we think about what might go wrong, that we're creating that which could go wrong. But it's further from the truth. In fact, if we plan for obstacles, then when we hit that obstacle, we're able to deal with it. Or at least we have the intention to be mindful. Maybe it's obstacles we didn't even consider were possible, but we are open and ready and available to move past any obstacles we have. We keep up this work. We're aware of any beliefs known or that reveal themselves, or resistances, or an apathy, a laziness we have. We're aware of that, and we go, no, that doesn't. I am going forth, and I know the truth of what I want to create. And you keep your vision forth there, so you plan for that idea. And the worksheet that's available to you, it has all 4 steps. Use it online, or just copy on a piece of paper, WOOP, your wish, your outcome, your obstacle, and what plans you're going to have to deal with it. And there's probably, if you're good at this, and if you're a creative person, like I'm sure you are, there's probably 6 or 7 or 8 obstacles, and there are probably a few more you don't think about, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
So
it reminds me so much of shadow work to a degree.
yes,
And in men's work, that's often been, or at least for me, there's been a big piece of shadow work that's done with men, because I think it allows us to move into the place of where we don't normally want to go. And I think guys build that up in their mind. I remember a retreat we had many years ago with one of my mentors, Tom Daly, who was teaching this workshop on shadow work, and some of the New Thought guys were resistant to it. They were like, why would we go? Why do we go there? Why do you want to go into the shadow? Why the negative? And it's like, hang on, guys. Like this, it goes back to your beach ball analogy, like trying to hold that under the water, and so much effort and energy when we're trying to repress these. It's not dark or nefarious or like this evil. Like, I think people build it up in their mind to be a little bit too much. But it's just, it could be the things that hold us back. It could be the things that we struggle with. Like for myself, like with my neurodiversity and my dyslexia, I have challenges when it comes to sitting down and writing things and doing things like that. And that is a shadow part of me, and I struggle with it. And to not work with it, to not acknowledge that that's an obstacle, was hard for me, because it's like, oh, I want to be the same as everybody else. And then we start to get those inner voices of the critic. Oh, you're not as good as other people. You're not doing it right. You're not. And then the judge comes in, and then all of these inner dialogue things, the inner voices that are critical, and they can just tear us up and tear us down and incapacitate us. And then they turn that in, for me anyhow, they can turn it into a place of even depression or stuckness, where you're just like, I don't want to get out of bed, or I just want to sit on the couch and Netflix it away, which does not work at all. And
it's worth a try.
Right? It's worth a shot, but it doesn't really help. Depends on what you're watching, maybe. But to be able to acknowledge that we all have these things that we struggle with, that we all have these, as she's putting it, these obstacles. And when we're in denial of them, when maybe sometimes more in the past, I think we've as a movement, I think we've moved more towards really embracing shadow work and embracing this kind of stuff. That's why I love it. This is something new that I'd never heard of. Whoop, I love it. But to be able to acknowledge these things, to be able to plan for these things, to be able to say, you know what? Okay, we're going to sit down and we're going to write this, but afterwards we're going to go out and take a walk. We're going to go cook some dinner. We're going to have fun afterwards. We can watch that movie on Netflix afterwards.
Right.
And it
without guilt and shame.
Without guilt and shame that incapacitates us.
Yes.
Beautiful. So just your thoughts on maybe shadow work, and because I know you've done a ton of men's work too.
So there was my father was one of these positive thinkers. He was the first person that taught me about positive thinking. And so when I was in my, I'd say close to 30. I was going through some kind of hard times with some inner stuff, and I was finding a heavy critic for, like, my main voice was to, just plow through this time, don't feel it, just plow through it. And there was part of me that wanted to be, just to take time with it, to be more inactive with it. And I criticized that person as lazy. And as I did some work with a therapist, I realized that was what my father would have judged that person. Like, he literally, when I was sitting somewhere, he goes, "Oh, you're not doing anything? I've got some things for you to do." So I wasn't allowed to be idle. There was so I judged this part of me that just wanted to be more contemplative about what was going on with me as lazy. And when I did this work with this therapist, I realized that it was just a part of me that wanted to be, that wanted to soften things a little bit. And I found that part could work with my pusher that was pushing me all the time. And we could find a balance between the doing and being in my life. Now, I'm still working with that 40 years later, but still, I'm aware of it. I know my pusher, and I know my beer and the importance of that and the balance, because I do need to get things done in the world. There are people that, expect me to get things done. I expect myself to get done. I need to be, but I'm much more efficient when I have that balance of doing and being. And if I hadn't been willing to do that shadow work, I never would have found that out.
Yeah, right. Taking the gift of our fathers. Maybe you and I are the only ones here that got gifts like that from our dad. I doubt it.
I doubt it.
But yes, to take that gift and to be able to, because it can be valuable. And on some level, that gift is a gift of the heart from our fathers. Like, hey, here's how I've been successful. You should do the same thing. And for all of us, there is this piece in us that is evolutionary, that calls to that greater spiral upwards of, okay, there is a time for doing this, and there's also a time for that beingness, and being able to have that balance between those two voices of, okay, Dad, thank you. I've got it. I'm just gonna reflect. I'm just gonna sit. I'm just gonna be for a moment, or maybe a little while, and then we'll get back to the doingness. So just go sit in the back corner there and relax.
I'll be over there in a minute. Right now I'm here.
Oh my gosh. Oh, hilarious, Jay. Yeah, our dads would have got along great.
And the other thing is the whole levels of consciousness. So much of the male energy has been about by me. They don't want to be victims, so they pick themselves up by their bootstraps and power through with their willpower. And that's the lone wolf that we were talking about earlier. I don't think in the interview, but before this interview. And this lone wolf is literally the by me. You are by yourself because you're moving people out of the way. You're knocking them over so you can get what you want to win at all costs, rather than through me, which is allowing this universal presence to move through you, to guide you, to inspire you, to empower you. And it's a much gentler way, and yet more powerful way to go through life. It's amazing, the difference in it. And it's like me, the story I told in the talk about going to the printer, about, the by me wanted to go in and tell that printer that they were wrong and that they owe me money. And I just took a breath before that happened, and just, okay, we'll just go in to start with, and we'll see. And it turned out perfectly. The gentleness, the softness, the talking about what I needed and what I'm asking for. And I didn't even ask it. She goes, "Oh, it's fine. We won't charge you."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes that power doesn't need force, it needs consciousness behind it on some level. Just be able to go in, right? If 95% of what we're communicating is nonverbal, what are we saying when we walk into the printer and they've done it wrong, and we're like, okay, if we can take those breaths and have those moments where we're able to pause. I think we talked about the pause, and to
Yeah.
pause within ourselves and to go, okay, I don't know what's going to happen here, but
Yeah.
I hold optimism. I'm planned in case, the obstacle of, okay, well, you got to pay anyway comes up. We've got a plan, which I think my male mind likes, to plan for those, okay, what if scenarios, but then to go back.
But even that doesn't have to come from anger.
Yeah,
It just comes from clarity.
right.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of where you're at. Well, I'm here, and this is the way I'm going to be.
Yeah.
This is the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, love it. Whoop. Okay.
Whoop.
Whoop. I'm gonna be working on that one myself.
It's a good tool.
Oh, Jay, thank you so much. It's been a great conversation.
Yes.
I wish we had more time, and we'll do it again. But before you leave, I've been asking the guys before we kind of close things up, this question of what does healthy masculinity in the 21st century look like? What do you think?
I think it's being present and mindful. I think there was a time when, we went from the lone wolf to being a more passive person, and that was thought to be the best thing. That's what we thought other people want, and that's not helpful either. We want to be strong, powerful, conscious men, and seeking what's to be healthy in body, mind, heart, and soul. What nurtures us, but also what creates a world that works for everyone, which sometimes we need to take that stand. Sometimes a no is what allows the freedom for other people to happen. So no racist comments, no mistreatment, choices for women of their body, choices for many things, so to stand strong, to allow freedom, our own freedom, and the liberation of other people as well.
Yes. I think that's true freedom right there.
Yeah.
When we can all be free, to be our authentic selves, when we can just show up and get the support. Like, life is hard enough without being judged in every single decision or every way that society thinks, oh, you should go this way, you should have zigged when you zagged or whatever. And I just appreciate that, and to be able to be seen, to be able to be honored, to be able to be encouraged and supported in the decisions, whether they're helpful or whether they're challenging, like you mentioned before, like, oops, I decided to go this way and it didn't work out, but look what I learned. I think that's the thing. It's like we're not here to be perfect. We're not here to do it right. We're here to have failures and to make mistakes and to pick ourselves up and to get the lesson and say, oh yeah, what a beautiful lesson that was. Or, oh, ouch, what a beautiful lesson that was.
Right. What a beautiful way.
I've had quite a few of those myself. Well, Jay,
the ancient meaning of curse is just a hidden blessing. It's just a hidden good. So there's no such thing as a curse. It just means when something is uncomfortable, that which is good in it has not yet been revealed.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, this has certainly been good, Jay. It's been wonderful to see you and connect and to have this conversation.
Likewise. Yes.
So grateful for you and Napa Valley. I'm going to come see you guys. I
Please do. And everybody's welcome to come out. We're made for people to come visit. That's what we're specialized in.
Nice. Maybe a little wine tour.
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Absolutely.
All right, Jay, thank you so much, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you for being here today.
And a little promo, I will say a promo here that if you're interested in ministry, I would be glad to be a resource to talk to you about ministry school and what the steps are in doing that. We also, our education allows you to work with Unity or Centers for Spiritual Living or Independent Religious Science. So look for my contact information and reach out to me. I'd be glad to answer any questions about that.
And what's your website, Jay?
NVCSL.org. So in Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living, NVCSL.org.
.org. Awesome, Jay. So if you want to connect with Jay, just look him up. And thank you for so much of your beautiful service and your friendship and just the beautiful man that you are in modeling health and well-being for everyone you've been in contact. I know it's affected me. So thank you, brother. It's a great conversation, and we'll talk again soon.
Okay. Well, thank you for setting up the site where there's so many sources of wisdom here. You're a clearinghouse's wisdom. And so it's really wonderful that you're doing this in your service. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay. All right, everybody. More to come. We'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this interview from the New Thought Men's podcast. For instant access to all podcast interviews, talks from our summit, men's groups, and so much more, join us at newthoughtmens.community. Thanks so much for being with us today. There's more to come, so stay tuned in.